All right, so here is the answer key to the practice quiz on the quotient of powers property. All right, number one, right away, the four options. Even without having the options there, if I never saw A, B, C, or D, I know it's a negative answer key. I know that. There's a negative sign. And now the q's. Remember, subtract the powers of the q's. You get a power of 3. Now come the r's. Subtract the upper power minus the lower power. The difference is 4. The same thing for s's. Subtract the upper power minus the lower power. Looks like it's back to a 3. The one thing which I said wrong or wrote wrong, the q should be a 2. When I subtract the powers, you get 2. So the one that matches with negative q squared, 4 to the power of 3, 3 cubed, is going to be letter B. And so letter B for number 1. And number 2, I know it's a negative answer key. I know that already because there's one negative sign there. When you subtract the powers of P, the difference is 3. Subtract the powers of Q, the difference is 1. Subtract the powers of R, the difference is also 1. So I'm looking around, and it looks like, well, this is interesting. It looks like we have just the letter D. Letter D. Yes, it does. So if there's one negative sign in the problem, then put one negative sign into your answer key. All right, now this is going to disappear as I move up my screen, just so you know that. All right, so number 1, number 2 are all done. Let's do number 3 and 4. All right, 3 and 4. It's a negative. Okay, there's one negative sign, so there's a negative answer key. If I subtract the powers of F, I get a difference of 4. Subtract the powers of G, get a difference of 3. Subtract the powers of H, and a difference of 4. And I have to give shouts out to letter D. And number 4. A little bit different. The negative is at the bottom now. And there's numbers. There's a 6 over negative 3. So in your head, you do 6 divided by negative 3. It's negative 2. You can put a fraction bar if you want. You may have nothing to put under it. And now do the x's. Subtract the powers of x's, you get a 1. Subtract the powers of y, you get 2. All right, now take a look at the bottom of the choice offerings. There's no fraction bars. So therefore, x power 1, y power 2 connects to letter B. I guess the worksheet doesn't bother writing the power of 1, but I did. All right, so there's 1 through 4 so far. And number 5 and number 6 kind of follow suit. Number 5 is just like number 4. You know, your brain does negative 10 divided by negative 2, and you write down 5, positive 5. The x's subtract their powers, the difference is 2. Y subtract their powers, the difference is 4. And that connects to letter A. And the last one of this kind of set. The 18 over negative 6, 18 divided by negative 6 is negative 3. X subtract the powers is 2. Y subtract the powers is a 4. And that connects to letter A again. So there's 1 through 6, that kind of problem. Then come number 7. I'm not going to roll up my screen yet. Number 7 can be done quite a few ways. Here's one of the methods you could do. You could take the top and don't change a thing. Leave it just the way it is. Even the bottom number 2. But here's one thing you could do for step 1. You could take that little power of 12 above the DE in the house and give it to the D and give it to the E. So now the problem has changed. Now it's going to be called 0.4, D power 7, E power 15, all divided by 2, D to the power of 12, E to the power of 12. So I'm kind of incorporating things you learned 2 weeks ago into what you're doing now. And now let's begin the process. All right, 0.4 divided by 2 is going to be, I believe, 20. 20. I hope I did that right. 2 goes, oh, I'm sorry. I did that wrong. It's going to be 2. I'll rephrase that. 2 goes into 0.4, 0.2 times. So 0.2. That's the point, by the way. Now come the D's. Subtract the powers. 17 take away 12 is 5. Letter E. Subtract those powers. The difference is 3. All right. So I'm going to say 0.2. D power 5, E power 3. On your paper, is this multiple choice or not? It's not. Okay, rats. All right, well, there it is. There's your answer key. 0.2, d power 5, e power 3. There's one like that on the quiz, FYI. So kind of look what I did. I did an in-between step. All right, now number 8. I have to erase what I wrote so I can go find number 8. All right, number 8. And there it is. All right, number 8's the same exact way. If I were you, I would first do this. I'd keep 3.5 where it is, d power 14 where it is, and e power 16. Even keep the 5 right where it is. Now, the other one, what I would change is the DE in parentheses, each with a power of 11. I would do one little step in between. I would get that little 11 to the D and the E. And now your brain says 3.5 divided by 5 is 0.7. And now do D's. Subtract those powers, you get 3. And now do E's. Subtract those powers, you get a 5. So 0.7, D to the third power, E to the power of 5. All right, number 9. Let me show you a shortcut at solving these. First, just focus what's inside the parentheses and focus on that. 6a power 6, b power 6 all over 4a squared, b to the power of 3. I would first take your 6 over 4, and I'd make it 3 over 2. I would then take the a's and subtract the powers. You get a to the power of 4. I would then take the b's, subtract their powers. You then get b to the power of 3. And then go back and put that little power of 2 back into the problem. So now it's 3a to the power of 4, b to the power of 3, all over 2. And the whole thing has a little power of 2. And now you can do this. They each get a little 2 now. 3 to the power of 2 is 9. B to the 4 to the power of 2, multiply powers. B to the third to the power of 2, multiply powers. And the bottom is 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. This is one way you can do this. So the answer key is 9, a to the power of 4, b to the power of 6, all over the number 4. So I want you to see how I'm weaving in old properties with the new stuff. We're still subtracting powers, but in this case, we also multiplied powers. We brought the old in with the new. So I wouldn't take my time doing this if I didn't think it was important to know. This is kind of crucial. And let me see, does it connect with anything above? Looks like letter B. I think letter B. Yeah, so it connects with letter B. So that's how they got letter B to be the answer key. There's 2 more like that, I believe. I want you to kind of copy it down, see what's going on.
Jack Speranza, please come to the main office. Jack Speranza to the main office, please.
Okay. Got a couple more left here. All right, number 10. Let me shrink up the screen a little bit here for us. The best I can do. It looks like 10, 11, same thing almost. Same thing. All right, number 10. Here's what I would do. Look at the 3/5. You can't do any. You can't reduce them. So keep it the way it is. 3 over 5. Subtract the powers of a. You get a to the power of 1. Subtract the powers of b. You get b to the power of 1. And now you can put back that little power of 4. And now the 3, the a, the b, and the 5, they're all going to get a power of 4, like we did like 2 weeks ago. So 3 to the power of 4 is 81 for the top. A to the 1 power to the power of 4, multiply those powers. And the b, same thing, multiply those powers. And the bottom is 5 to the power of 4. Okay. It looks like that's going to connect with letter A. Letter A. So I'm kind of hoping now if you didn't get to number 11, now you can do number 11. So the 4 over the 6, I'd reduce that to 2/3. That's what I would do. Just a personal little advice. Subtract the powers of a to get a to the power of 1. Subtract the powers of b, you get power 4. And then put back that little power of 5 all over again. And there's upstairs and downstairs, and they're all going to get a power of 5. So I'm going to think out loud. 2 to the power of 5 is 32. A to the power of 1 to the power of 5, multiply powers. B is the same thing, multiply powers. And the bottom is 3 to the power of 5. I think that's 243. And it looks like letter C. Connect. So I'm kind of hoping that if you didn't get as far as number 11, now you knew how to do number 11. There's a lot involved there. There's a lot involved. I'll give you that. There's a lot of multiplying powers and also subtracting powers. All right, the bottom three, I call these easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just 2 and the 5, upstairs and downstairs, each get a power of 2. So therefore, the top becomes 4, the bottom becomes 25. 2 to the power of 4 is 2, and 5 to the power of 2 is 25. That was it. 13, 3 is the little power, and it's given to people upstairs and downstairs. So 1 to the power of 3 is 1. And the bottom, 4 to the power of 3 is, let me think about this, 4 times 4, I think 64. All right, so number 13 is going to be called 1/64th. And number 14. All right, 3 gets the number 3, and 4 also gets the number 3. And so 3 to the power of 3 is, 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. We know what 4 to the power of 3 is. We just did it. 64. So 14, just write down 27 over 64. And that is the answer key to your practice quiz.